Alt-J, left hand free, guitar tabs, and guitar lesson. I'll play through all the different sections right at the beginning. After that, I'll go back through, give the full explanation for it. Please hit that subscription button. It's the best way of letting me know you like this video and you want to see more Alt-J stuff. And now, let's get on into the lesson. Alright, so for starters, we're in a drop D tuning. So we got D, A, D, G, B, E. Alright, and it's mainly to accommodate this initial riff. And we start here at the 3rd fret on the low D. We hit that, and this is all part of like an F chord now. So we hit the 3 bass note on the D, come down, hit the 3 on the middle D with the 2 on the G. Alright, just kind of chop it there. And then we come off to 1st fret on that middle D, and we hit that about 5 times. And then we hammer it on back to 3D. Alright, and now we need that low E flat note, which is where this drop D comes in. So now we can just hit it at the 1st fret on that low D. And then we go 2, 3 on the A. And then we do this back and forth with a 3 on that low D and the 1 on the G. Do that a couple times. And then just come back to that 3 on the low D once more. Alright, and then we would just loop it from there. So we'll try it slowly here. Okay, and the second guitar, once the verse gets going, it kind of chimes in over the top of it, and it does this quick little arpeggiated thing. And closest I can figure, it's in this neighborhood where we're going to do a quick hammer on 6 to 8 on the middle D, then we'll hit an 8 on the G and a 6 on the B. Alright, so it's just kind of playing around with that chord really quick. Like cranks it out twice, just like that. Alright, and that's just over the top end of that initial riff that the first guitar is doing. Once the chorus gets going, we get these kind of bigger chords over the top of the main riff as well. And this also carries in through like the second verse and just becomes a part of the song at this point. And basically it just goes between a couple chords. An F chord, which in this tuning we can do, just by barring the 3s on the D-A-D, and then the 5G and the 6B. It just kind of strums it once, splits the measure, hits it for a couple counts, and then drops down for that E flat now, which is the same shape that we're using, just down here barring the 1st fret on the D-A-D, adding the 3 on the G and the 4B. It just carries that in through the next measure, and at that last beat of that second measure, it hits that E flat once more, and then just kind of repeats that F back to the E flat again. Alright, and then it caps it off by coming up and hitting an A flat, which is same shape, just all the way up here at the 6s on the D-A-D, 8 on the G, 9 on the B, and with this one, we just kind of want to strum right on beat with it for a full measure. And and then we bump it up, same shape, up to the 8s, the 10, and the 11 for the B flat. And we hit this, and then we just cut it. All right, we get a tiny little bridge or interlude, I guess you might call it. And it's just bouncing between a new chord and a familiar chord. We go to a couple strums of a D minor now, and with this tuning we can just hit the open low D, and then our mid-voiced chord shape here, that 5 on the A, 7 on the D and G with the 6 on the B. And with this, it's just a couple strums. All right, then it moves to that F chord that we had, barring the 3s, hit the 5 and the 6, couple strums. Back to that D minor for a couple. Alright, and then we just do, full quarter note strums on that F. Just. Alright, then we get right back into our main riff and finish the song out from there.